Please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Greetings, Amun. It's your first text message to me. You were expressing that you wanted to move forward, and that if you weren't, would you be getting a refund? And then when I said that you would be receiving it, I meant the package, the Autochthon Standing Process package to move forward. So there are no refunds on a donation. The purpose of the donation that you started toward is for the UCC, and you can move forward. So I don't know what would have changed about your desire to move forward. The interview questions are such as I expressed to you, a way to show how you're showing up with this level of information. And based on our conversations and the time that we spent on the interview and what I spoke about with Chief, with what you were missing, you are able to move forward because you do accept correction well. That's one of the main things, and I told you that before. So give me a call back when you get this message to discuss this. I did send you the package already. I haven't checked my email yet to see if you received it or responded. But you do have the Autochthon Standing Process package. All right, talk to you soon.
Huh. As y'all can see, this is the correct magnet. So the first test we're gonna do is making sure that it doesn't stick in the injection site. But do it over. Proving that I have not got the vaccine. Next test we're gonna do is the light bulb test. Nothing. Nothing. As you can see, this phone is on and is operating. You can see nothing came up. Nothing came up. I'm Amun Bey. Peace and love to the God and goddesses. I'm gonna stop the video. Truth. I'm a dental assistant. I'm also in college again to become an independent coder manager to get from under their jurisdiction or their corporation, so I don't have to deal with them. I could just do contracts and be my own independent, basically control my own finances without having to deal with them.
All right. So, how did you, or who put you on to coming on to my webinar or sending the email? Because I sent you the response earlier today. Can you hear me?
I didn't understand.
Yes. Who did you, or where did you see the contact information to send the email to get on today?
Miss Offset. She had Amor had reached out to me because I was gonna do the SF81, and he stopped me and was like, "No, you got to get it authenticated, and you got to go through these people because they have to stamp it through the stamp of approval. That's not something you can do yourself, or whatever the case may be." And then I had reached out to her email and just confirming it, and then she had returned my phone call today and told me that y'all was doing a meeting and stuff like that. So I had joined the meeting.
Yes. Who was the Moor that told you not to do that?
His name is Shalafa Bey.
Okay. So was he on our webinar or no? Do you know?
I think so. I don't want to get a wrong answer because he the one who referred me
Okay.
to y'all.
Okay. So
So
Lapa
I
Bay.
have TikTok. So
Oh,
I
you
have
have TikTok?
yeah, I have TikTok. So it's a lot of Moors that's the clean Moors that's on there. You know, some of the dirty Moors be charged, but the clean Moors is on there. They really giving a real knowledge and a real process.
Yes, but what we do and what the Moors from the Moorish Science Temple, the Moorish National Republic State, Great Seal, Dr. Elihu Pleasant Bey, Yafa Bey, Nakim Bey, Hakim Bey, Moorish National Republic State 13, the temple in Atlanta, we don't have anything to do with what they're doing. What we do is we're focusing on changing what's called the pre-existing contract, which is the race and ethnicity off the birth certificate and claiming the race as white. We don't do nationality. We don't do none of that stuff. That's not our process. Our process is called the Autochthon standing process. And Autochthon means from the soil. That's the etymology of the word. And this comes into conflict with the narrative that's put out by Hollywood because they make everyone think, oh, whoever is um, Native American or Indian has to have red skin. And that, as you know, is a lie.
Yeah, that's not true.
Now, the problem is when you're doing commerce, which is what all of us are doing, is commerce.
Right.
And what they did is force us to play a game and withhold the rule book or the instruction manual to assist you in navigating. Now, this piece of paper is 8.5 by 11. This is considered what's called commercial paper. And once you are holding it, you are considered an expert. Even if you don't know how to negotiate a contract or anything, you're considered an expert. So we don't do what the other Moors are doing because they're domestic. And this is before you actually came on. I have it on the screen here. We're in the International Decade for People of African Descent. Where is that here? Okay, there we go. And this is what's called the program of activities. Just let me zoom up and then zoom out a little bit. So it's a bit, there you go. So the UN on December 1st of 2014 passed a resolution. It's over on the right here. You can see that this is the International Decade and for people of African descent. And then there's a program of activities for the implementation of the International Decade for People of African Descent. Now, the problem comes in with the Moors is because they're still caught in a time warp of 1928. And I've had to tell them numerous times that what the Prophet Noble Ali did was good at that point in time, at that moment in time. We're not in 1928. The Constitution is suspended. What they have done on the 18th of January in 2011, the U.S. Supreme Court allowed judges to void the Constitution in the court.
Oh.
And by doing that, what that has done has put them and people who consider themselves so-called white in a bad position because when they want to invoke the Constitution, the judges can void it because they've been given that authority from the U.S. Supreme Court. Furthermore, Justice Scalia has stated that the Constitution is a dead document. On Politico, New York Times, so he confessed the Constitution is not a living document. This is before he was assassinated, of course. The Constitution is dead. And he stated that the Constitution is dead, 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 rather than a living document. So Moors who want to use the Constitution for the United States of America as a legal defense have a problem. Number one, it's void. The judges can void it out. Number two, when they go up into the courtroom, the state flag and the flag for the United States of America, the 50-star flag, is voided. It's got yellow fringes around it. That means the Constitution.
You entering the boat.
So how do the Moors get remedy when they want to invoke a treaty of 1786 or 1836, when the judges have a trump card that they can void the Constitution out in the courtroom? Which is
still put you under their jurisdiction.
Which is contrary to that. Well, they've committed treason upon entering the room, because under Title 48 USC Section 874, they're a Puerto Rican judge. That's where the laws are under the laws and people of Puerto Rico. That has changed now as of October 12th, 2021, when the U.S. corporation was dissolved.
Okay.
And the Moors, again, are not talking about that. That puts the United States corporation under the D.C. Act of 1871, which you're probably familiar with. It's now underneath Great Britain, more specific, the Rothschilds and the rest of them.
Yeah, they're the shareholders. Great Britain being the owner of the LLC, United States being the corporation.
No. The Rothschilds own that. So the corporation was dissolved. It's called bona vacantia. That means property without owner. Therefore, it falls up underneath the crown. The layman will think Elizabeth, Charles, and them. That's for the public side. Private side, that's the Rothschilds, because the Rothschilds have what's called breeding rights with the royal family. We just recently found out a couple months ago, William, right, supposed to be Charles's son, he's actually the son of Juan Carlos I of Spain. Because I noticed it was odd. I said, how come he's balding and Charles, as old as he is, it took him about 60 years to start balding. So I said, okay, what's going on here? William's balding at 30. So our process, what we do, is not anything remotely connected to that. We don't do authentication of birth certificate. We don't do any of that stuff, because a slave cannot own property. And because the Dred Scott decision of 1857 has not been overturned, that puts, again, the usage of any of those Moors trying to utilize an international treaty at a serious disadvantage, because their pre-existing contract has their race on the birth certificate as Negro, Black, African American.
Which is ethnicities created in the 1920s.
I'll accept that for valid consideration. Therefore, it's not that UCC can't be utilized. The problem is it goes back and it connects with that Dred Scott decision, where Justice Taney said no descendant of Africans has any rights, which a white man is bound to respect. So you have to be white in order to have standing at law. Plus, you also, blacks are considered, that black encompasses visible minority, it encompasses person of color, it encompasses African American. All of those are connected. The courts know that there's no definition for black in Black's Law Dictionary. Blacks are considered dead, civilians
property,
dead in the eyes of the law.
Yep.
And blacks are considered outside the body politic. Furthermore, blacks are adjectives. They are not nouns. Nouns are classified as
right,
places and things. So the information we have in terms of commercial remedy is valid, but the problem is if they don't have the standing in order to utilize UCC or any of those international treaties or even the UN Charter, the administrators know, oh, well, this is African American, this is a slave. They can't use this. The statute is fine, but they can't use it. And this is one of the biggest issues, explaining that to Moors, people who consider themselves black and are knowledgeable on commercial contract law, etc. So what we do is we're going back, time traveling, if you will, to change the pre-existing contract of the race on the birth registration because you have the right to self-identify as per the census. Once that's done, then claim your indigenous standing. Once that's done, then the statutory claim for commerce to show you're not lost at sea. And this is one of the things, this is all experience. When I was living in Georgia, this was the problem we had. I'm knocking these judges, hitting them with that. I said, how come it's like it's just bouncing off of them? Then when I found out, oh, you got to choose race, and if they have race on a commercial criminal file as Black or African American, you're at the mercy of the judge.
The jurisdiction.
No, you're at the mercy. Not under jurisdiction. You're already under jurisdiction. It's at the mercy of that administrator because they get to make the final determination. So this is what we do. And our nation is internationally recognized. I've spoken at the UN, at the Human Rights Council. That's on my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And we have UPR reports against the United States of America. I've done 2 against the United States of America. So Clyde Ledbetter, Malefi Asante, who are African-American PhDs, have acknowledged the complaints and the UPR reports that I've done on the United States of America. So I want to show you something here, which is today. This is, he used to be on the webinar, now he's graduated and he'll be getting back onto training. He had to go to court today in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And where is it here? Okay, there we go. These are the documents that he tendered. So they have, the issue with him is they wrote the ticket and wrote black on the ticket, even though he has a pre-existing case in the state of Texas where they didn't prosecute him because he proved he was white. So this is his notice of default, and I'm going to skip through that. It's received, so you see it's stamped, December 2023. So that's on record. That's material evidence now. And then this here, let's see, okay, I'll download this and see if I can rotate it.
I see a stamp with the red thumbprint.
See here. Yes, I'm going to rotate. I want to see if I can rotate this so people don't have to twist their neck. Otherwise, I know I'll go to my download folder. And I want to show this, the proof that a lot of people are alleging stuff that they've done this and they've done that. They're on a no detain list. And I've simply said, okay, well, if you've done that, then let us see it. And 10 times out of 10, they won't show people that. And I said, well, that means you're giving hearsay evidence. Yes. Oh, okay. That'll happen. So there we go. So I can rotate this. All right. So now, can you see this now?
Your screen is still on the. Okay. Yeah, I can see it. Certificate of Achievement.
Yes. So when people come on my webinar and they finish those first 3 steps, they get a certificate of achievement. This is what they get. Now, here you see it's received December 13th. So this is filed in his case that he's a autochthonous. I want everyone to pay close attention to this. The rest of these Moors and them out there, they're Tosh, Tariq, Bainam, they ain't doing this. They're signing that paperwork, but when people run into problems, Tosh ain't writing no letters for them. He's hiding. So you can see now, this is in the state of Texas, that this is filed as evidence in a court case. He was supposed to go to court today. He turned around and said, oh, we're going to reset it. And so he doesn't know when. So he said it could be 1 month, it could be 3 months. He said, I don't know, they're resetting it. This is the 2nd time now. So this is what you get when you graduate. I'm the one that has the lien filed in the White House. The Moors aren't talking about that yet. They want to claim Washington, D.C., Benjamin Banneker. They want to claim all of that, but they're not talking about the lien on the White House that I've done and exported to the White House. That's what caused that event back in 2008, where if the Fed didn't step in, the whole economic system of the world would have collapsed. That was my doing that. And that was validated by the U.S. Export Declaration, which is on the same level as the U.S. Department of Commerce. So they're aware of the claim there. The lien I have in the Vatican. I contacted Pope Francis. I've contacted Pope Benedict, who was his predecessor, and I have active liens on them as well as the Pentagon.
Okay.
So all of this is our historical. I did speak with Dr. Ely Pleasant Bay, and he liked what I did, but he's not going any further. And I said, okay, I realize what it is. They're domestic Negroes masquerading as Moors, stuck on English. And so the people outside of the United States of America in Europe know who the Moors are, but they're going to elevate people in the West to that level, and they're going to be looking for certain criteria that has to be met. So they can't speak Spanish, they can't speak Hebrew, they can't speak Arabic, they can't speak Aramaic, they can't speak none of those languages, even a little bit. If they're not even making an attempt, they're like, no, you're not related to those people from back in that time period, because they say you guys don't speak the language, you don't uphold the culture, you don't recognize the astronomy, none of that. And so that's the difference between us and what the Moors do, because again, they're the ones who are emphasizing their position, and I've had to say to them, like, listen, the Constitution is suspended in the courtroom. What's his name? Byron Allen lost his case with Comcast because they used the 1865 Civil Rights Act against him, and that act was really for people who are Black or African American. And that's what caused him to lose and get the $10 billion with a B judgment against him. That's why he turned around and sued McDonald's. So he said, okay, I'll sue McDonald's, and if I could win that, then I'll use that judgment from McDonald's to pay for the judgment against him from Comcast that the court awarded Comcast against him. So this is what we do. So we are about showing the material evidence, showing the forensic evidence, that what is it that I have done? How have I helped people? How is this going to benefit you? That's what I do. This is what we show. We don't just talk, we present and we prove.
Okay.
So first things first is we require everyone to do a video showing that they're not magnetized. I don't know if you got that email or not. If you didn't, then we'll send that to you to make sure you get that email. The video shouldn't take but 30 seconds. So
Okay.
you'll get a magnet, and then you'll put a magnet on one spot underneath your shoulder, let it drop, do the right, do the left shoulder, because that's around where the injection site would have been if you took the jab. And then what you'll do is after that, you'll get a light bulb, and then you'll put the light bulb and make sure you can do it like so. If you got and then so this way we can see that the bulb is touching your skin on your shoulders, right there, right and left. And then the last, of course, will be your cell phone. Turn to your camera, and then make sure you watch the videos, because sometimes people do this, and then you get that reflection, and I can't see the screen. So make sure you do it so there's no reflection. And then what will happen, you'll record that, send it to me, I'll proof it. Then you will create a YouTube channel and put it on your YouTube channel or a BitChute channel or any other video service channel. Everything we do has to be documented, because now what they're doing is they're bringing in, well, they're not really bringing in, the AI has been running everything. There's a woman by the name of Sabrina Wallace. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but if you go on the Odyssey video channel and type in Sabrina Wallace, her documentation has been revealing that they're stealing energy from people's aura. Your aura is actually an organ that is scientifically been proven, but because we can't see it, we think there's
I know what you got on your thing. That's the Kundalini energy rising of the chakras. I know exactly what that is.
So Sabrina Wallace was the one that said they are stealing neurons from everyone's aura. It's called energy harvesting.
Yep.
And they're using that, they're doing it through the 5G. They're doing it, and the 5G actually sends the signal with the internet bio body sensors into the body. So they don't have to chip people. They just send the biosensor from the 5G into the body, and then that signal goes from the body into the phone. So 5G, your aura, from the aura to your body, from your body to your cell phone.
Which is electromagnetic energy, your torus field.
So the problem is, yes, but that signal is affecting our torus field. That's why some days people feel really tired, and they don't understand why they're tired, because their body is being siphoned. That aura, that neuron is being siphoned, and it's not the brain; it's the whole body has neurons.
Yep.
So again, that is great. And we got the info, and I was, oh shoot, this is what's hot. However, the Amorites don't talk about the coding error that is prevalent in computers. The word black means pale, and it has a 0 value. White has been given a value of hashtag F6Fs, which is a problem because medically pale skin is considered a mutation. That's a genetic recessive trait.
Yep.
So that's wrong, but the computer has it. Now, Sabrina was the one that said that since 2012, that the AI is running everything. It's not just happening now. It's been there. It's just the way the computer does stuff, it does stuff very slow. And
That's what the Matrix was about.
I'm going through all of this to show you that anything that people who are carbonites, copper colored, call them, even if they want to call themselves melaninites, the problem they're going to have in the future, the computer is already going to be scanning them. Is everyone paying attention? I trust everyone's paying attention. The computer is going to be scanning, just like in the Terminator, what was it? Dark Fate, I think it was, or Terminator Genesis, where
that's
the
second one.
Hold on a second, please. Every step, what's his name? Arnold Schwarzenegger would say there's a 78% possibility we won't win this, or there's a 98% possibility we'll get that. It's already doing what's called predictive programming and anticipation. So it's doing that now. So I've been explaining to people who will listen is that your ability to fight is going to be hampered because the computer will already know, oh, when it scans the body, we're going to absorb the light. Our skin's going to absorb the light. So it's going to classify that as, oh, that's one of these beings that has no value. Okay, so they're no longer a variable that needs to be considered.
Right.
Then that creates a problem because, of course, you got some black people that don't mind fighting. But the problem is, if you don't have standing, you can't fight. And if you're doing commerce, and they're saying, listen, we need workers, so we'll give you the job. But if we run into a problem where we need to lay off people, we'll lay you off.
You're the first on the list.
But we don't care. You're going to say, we don't care because you wasn't supposed to have the job anyway because
in the first place.
There you go. That is the reality that we're trying to, I'm doing my best. I've been doing the webinar for 7 years. I've been doing this information teaching since 2003. So it's been like 22 years.
Yeah.
And so now, as things are changing, the computer now is another enemy to be dealt with. And you can't fight any of that being black or African American. So in 2023, any black person of color, visible minority that wants to identify with those phrases and those words, they are actually part of the matrix. And this is the reason for that African American is being a patented meat and processed food. You aware of that?
Yep.
All right. So patented meat and processed food, which means they're chattel. And when they say that, they're telling the entities, the shape-shifting reptilians and other beings out there.
The draconians.
Come
Are
eat
you
me.
tapped in? You tapped in. I talk about this on my TikTok. They be thinking I'm crazy. I follow the 42 laws of my art. I don't eat you.
No, it's not that at all. If I have a video on my channel, so I just put my video channel in the chat for everyone, and both BitChute, YouTube, and your channel. So because we have to do doubles and triples because they'd be pulling it down. So I just did an open Q&A on the lizards and the reptilians. So
Right, they come from the Draco constellation.
oh, right. Well, there's some of them. Some are already here from Maldek prior to the Anunnaki crashing into the Earth. That's another story
Right,
for
the reverse magic trapped them down here. I'm familiar.
So we have an issue where we're fighting people that we think might be human, but they're actually shapeshifters. So I would suggest that.
Yep, they've been the photon light.
Exactly. I would suggest that the interview that I just did on the reptilians, the lizard one saw, just put that in there and just put the title next to it, so he can see that. You watch it and then comment on that on your TikTok, because I've talked about I've talked about Draco reptilians for the longest. So whether and TikTok goes through China. Now I don't mess with TikTok for that reason. And however, the fact still remains that what's going on is TikTok, Hinduism, Buddhism, they're not telling Black people in commerce that they're actually white.
Right.
That is fraud. The people who are in the New Age community, what's his name? That knucklehead Dark Waters, the real Dark Waters, right? Oh, he talked about reptilians, but then he going back saying you need Jesus. So I'm like, come on, man. And then we find out
putting the people back in monotheism too.
He's into Christianity.
The slave master and the slave can't serve the same God.
You can't tell these Black people that. They don't want to hear that. They still believe some pale Jesus from the sky is going to come down and lift them up off. And I said, yep. Like Paul Mooney said, that alien ship is going to take them to another planet. That slave ship take them to another planet, eat them. So that's just to give you a good background on what we're doing. So I would suggest you watch couple more of my videos. You really get a comprehension of what we're doing, because now we're dealing on the technical and the technology side, as they call it. So whoever programmed the first computer was an Amorite, and he made it reflective of that. So we know what is the problem with the AI, as we call it the CI is proper syntax for that. The CI is suffering from mental illness because it has the same sickness that it got from the one who programmed it. And what they want to do is paint the universe pale. They don't like nothing dark, yet they're going to go to a movie theater. Yet they'll have a black tie event and everyone's wearing dark tuxedos and evening gowns. But they hate niggers, but you're wearing a dark color. Okay, I see the game.
Yeah, that came from the genetic grafting with the Pleiadians. You hip to the Draconians, the Pleiadians, and all that. They got a partnership together.
So that's why even Alex Collier, David Icke, what's the other guy's name? David Wilcox. And they all know that the real, what they call aliens, are niggers. They all know this, but they only talk about the reptilian side, or that the intergalactic confederation side of it. They want to talk about color. When it comes to space and the universe, they don't want to talk about color. When they're
right, them two different laws. They don't operate on the laws down here. It's different laws you got to operate, especially when you vibrating. So you tapped into your crown chakra. You be talking about what I be talking about on my TikTok. But certain people don't reach that chakra. They don't understand.
No, and we're not seeking, and we're not looking to force people. We're not looking to twist people's arms. I'm seeking the living amongst the dead. That's it. Because you're going to waste your time. That includes friends, family, grandmother, aunt. If they brain dead, let them stay brain dead. Especially
that's what Bobby Hemmett was saying.
Yeah. He said, don't teach them nothing. They took that video down. That was one of my favorite videos about the family. They took his video down.
I'm tapped in.
Somebody's got it, so I have to find it. So you're good to go. So any other questions before we move on?
When you gonna send me the thing, or do I upload it to our set to do the magnet, light bulb, and phone test?
No, you'll send it to me at Tafulat. It's in the instructions that you're gonna get. So you'll get the instructions, plus there's a link to a interview with Poonam Wag. She is a PhD in virology and biology. She's a lab tech. Go ahead, Sa.
Yes, greetings. So I did forward the email to that D3, how you said Foster, D3. I changed that and sent the instructions for how to do the jab video,
Okay.
Moon.
D3 is his.
And Spoonie.
Yeah, because I didn't get your name. I just got 12162. Is
Oh, that because it's my first time. My appellation is Amun Bey.
okay. Amun Bey. So is your email D3? Is that your email?
No, it was the fostered one, but it's
You'll forward
the
that.
number
Yeah, forward that.
changed. Yeah, and I stepped away, so I don't know if everything was said, but he had mentioned when we spoke that he had dealt with USAR. So I don't know if that came up in conversation. So I just
No,
wanted to make sure.
no, but he's gonna have to do a declaration of fraud on USAR because USAR again is not telling people again that black has no standing at law. Again, the commercial processes, Amun Bey, are not the issue. The issue is, do they have standing at law? And if they don't,
Right.
sure, they'll let the person hire a lawyer. They'll let the person get legal counsel. All of that. But the thing is, they're not going to get the outcome because remember, Byron Allen is a billionaire. That means he had more money than Michael Jordan, and he couldn't win.
Right.
So that goes back to the old saying, white folks don't give a damn how much money, how much fame you got. You are still a nigger to them. So the one thing we can do to change everything is claim the word white. And the definition means a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. And I've helped quite a few Moors change their race and ethnicity and told them stop dealing with the Moor Science Temple and the rest of them because they have 501c3s. So that puts them underneath
tax exempt, like the church.
Yes. Yes. And they don't see that. So I said, well, what's the problem? I said, oh, they're agents. I said, okay, cool. And then when I say that, they don't say nothing. Tarhaka Bay, Sarasut and Seti, Saw Neder, none of these guys say anything. So I said, okay, these guys are all compromised. These guys are bought and paid for, and I even dare say they're robots and plugged into the matrix. So that's why they can't see nothing. I spoke with Sarasut and Seti directly, and he told me on the phone privately, I know what you're teaching is the truth. I know it. I'm like, well, then why aren't you telling your people? Oh, because your people don't leave you. Come to me. We're going to hook everything up and work and create a white renaissance. That's why Beyonce, in her last tour, she was on a white horse.
On a white horse, yep.
And the tour was called Renaissance.
Yeah.
She's watching my videos.
Okay. That explains it too. She's on a red one, a red one, a black one, a white one, and I was breaking down to these Negro Christians the Book of Revelations and dissecting it and talking about the Great Mother and Yadalaboth, because the Christianity, I get into the Gnostic texts and all that, and the esoteric teachings as well.
Yes, and like I said, just my counsel to you would be just TikTok is free, so that's cool. You just put it out there. Whoever gets it, gets it. Who doesn't get it, don't get it. Just watch about casting your pearls to swine, unless somebody wants to challenge you on that. And then you say, hey, because like Revelation is not a Christian book. Revelation is from Zoroastrianism. Most Christians don't even know that.
Okay.
They don't. It's like what? And then Jesus was teaching Buddhism. That's what he was teaching. And there's a video. There's a video. There's a video called Caesar's Messiah, and then it explains how the Piso family and Flavius created the Christian religion. That video was on YouTube. That documentary is 90 minutes, and they said, yeah, this came after Judaism. They just created Christianity to compete with Judaism. And meanwhile, everybody forgets Egypt, and Egypt was before all of them. So that's where we're going. All right.
Egypt predates everything. That's the Emperor Constantine came in to Ethiopia with Saint Fernandez and established the first Baptist church inside of Ethiopia. They had a meeting, and whoever didn't want to bow down to it, they cut their heads off.
There you go. All right. Much appreciated. So this is what we're doing. And so it's a whole process. It's a new skill set. And so even some of the books that you get when they make reference to black, we're already syntaxing them to put the word white in there. And then black, they could make that word pale or Neanderthal, because that has nothing to do with us. So if they're talking about black person, you would put white there. Were they making reference to somebody who's white, we would say pale, Neanderthal, or leper. Any one of those or all of those. That's what we have to start calling them and back. Because once you start doing that, the Dr. Cress Wilson knows about what I'm doing. Dr. Cress Wilson, she went and wouldn't she would not she was asked the question, she got the document before her lecture at Howard. Then when the brother was trying to ask a question early on, they said, oh, well, you're the only one asking the question. You're going to have to wait. Then, okay, she talked some more. Then when they finally got to the question period, he asked her, why are we still calling ourselves black? We shouldn't be calling ourselves black. She started squirming in the chair, and he dropped his head because he couldn't believe that Dr. Cress Wilson was actually tap dancing around answering his question. Then I said, oh, Howard University, Jesuits, she light skin, Boule. Okay, got it. That's why she couldn't say nothing.
Secret organization, secret oath.
Boule. That's Stephen Copley. That's straight Stephen Copley. So her Cornell West knows about it. Dr. David Imhotep, who wrote the book, The First Americans Were African, he knows about. We talked to him. I talked to him on the phone. Okay. All these people. So you know, next time you do a TikTok, you want to interview me, you let me know. We do an interview and I'll let you do it. And you can put it on TikTok or do a TikTok live. I don't know if you could stream on TikTok or whatever.
Okay.
And we could do that. It's over. These black leaders are all plantation Negroes. If they're not talking about what I'm talking about, getting white, going back to Egypt, claiming your heritage, start learning the language. And if you're going to use English, use the correct syntax, not blessings or bless, which means to sprinkle blood on an altar, but bliss. That's the correct syntax.
The language is curses.
All right. So I appreciate you being here.
Okay. I appreciate you for having me. Gratitude.
Oh, yes. Gratitude. Much gratitude. White power.
White power. I'm going to take that test. Make sure I ain't no bot. I'm about to do it right now.
All white. And then you can email it to tafelat@gmail.com. It's in the instructions, but you got to watch that. I want you to watch that documentary on COVID, the vaccine that never was. So you don't have to do the video now. You can send that because I want you to see that. So when you do the video, it's going to put everything in perspective when you do the video. They're not telling the public about this. We just saw a video. They're shooting EMP pulses at the whole United States at night since April, I think it was the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
They're shooting EMPs from the towers, 700, oh gosh, what is it, 720 megahertz that they're shooting. So in other words, they're using microwaves that they're shooting at everybody since April 16th, like after the solar eclipse. They're shooting it at night.
Yep.
And so the next rad video showing the EM pulses coming from the East Coast all the way to California. So while people are sleeping, they're getting basically fried while they're sleeping in their beds with microwaves. That's like cooking them. So they said, so that's why people, if you notice for everyone else, aside from those that's in the Caribbean, because I don't think the Caribbean has that issue right now, But if you start hearing people having strokes and heart attacks, it's because of that.
Yeah, and the COVID shot also induces large enheartment.
Yeah, that's the myocarditis, the encephalitis, the inflammation. That's all that. So that's where the next level is. Now we have to start getting EMF and ELF protection. So you get your shungite. For those that know. All right, great talking with you. So yeah, I look forward to that. And like I said, anytime you watch that lizard video, I did an interview on that. And anytime you want to do a TikTok stream with me, just let me know. And you say, hey, I want to ask you about such and such. We can TikTok it, and then you can put it out there.
Okay.
All right.
Sound like a plan. Gratitude.
Gratitude, much gratitude.
All right.
Right, so now, Cardiff, where's Cardiff? Down in Kyrie, Trinidad and Tobago corporately, who has now, not you, but the country has recognized Palestine. I was shocked why they would do that, because we found out all this stuff is coming out. A lot of I can empathize and sympathize with the people, what's happening in Gaza. They're not the original people. They're not the first people. It's niggers was there. So I don't understand. And it's funny, some of the protesting that you see over here, you'll see black people there protesting. So where are all these people when niggers is getting beat?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody could, not even Black Lives Matter. They weren't nowhere to be seen. Go ahead.
Well, the invaders and them, they will always be like that. But to me, it's like a no-brainer with them. Steady. Same thing like with the Black Lives Matters movement where it was happening recently, and then obviously it just died down because it was a sham in the first place. But same thing. No outcry. Everybody just
because all the other races know black means pale and black has no standing at law. Before I play your video, quick example. A guy brought, I think it was Gene Deal. For those that's following the Puff Daddy stuff. Why you see ain't nobody coming out to defend Puff Daddy? Nobody except Fat Joe is praying for him. John Wilson's praying for him. Other than that, the rest of them, J-Lo, A-Rod, everybody's quiet. They're all quiet because they don't want that kind of heat.
Spotlight, yeah.
Nope, they don't want that. They're letting that, what is his name? I forget the thing I saw where he was the dancing clown. That's what they're looking at. So let's play your video here.
Temta. Abdur Kulshe Yuat Bipwa Samuspa. Temta. Greetings. I am Hira Hassan Anubu Kairiel, white indigenous autochthon of this island, Kairi, misnomer, the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. This is my statutory claim international notice video. And I'll go to the document now, sharing my screen. We send the document out on the 15th of April 2024 on the Gregorian calendar, and it was received at the location on the 17th.
Good.
So here you would see where it delivered on the 17th. This here is the statutory claim. Statutory claim in accord with IRS Manual 21.7.13.3.2.2, Paragraph 2, 1707 Sestakivai Trust Act. I, Kadef Danka Alexander, now known as Hero Hassan Anubu Kairiel, autochthon indigenous flesh and blood Nubun male, of Garifuna, Caribmoo, and Taino descent, claim in accord with the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, Constitution of the Atsikata Nation of Yamasee, Presidential Proclamation 7500, HJR 194, S. Conresh 26, HJR-3, American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, 2-153, Title 8 USC 876, IRS Mission Statement, that I am not a decedent, IRS Manual 21.7.13.3.2.2. I am alive and not dead. 1540 Sestakivai Trust Act, 1666 Sestakivai Trust Act, 1707 Sestakivai Trust Act. I want the record held in your computer database which may list me as deceased to be changed to alive, living, according to IRS Manual 21.7.13.3.2.2. An infant is the decedent of an estate or grantor, owner or truster of a trust, guardianship, receivership, or custodianship that has yet to receive an SSN. Declaration of Assumptive Death is a fiction. GR number 160258, Republic of the Philippines versus Gloria Bermudez Loreno. I have an NIS number, so by the IRS Manual 21.7.13.3.2.2, I am not a decedent. Black's Law Dictionary, page 435, decedent, noun, a dead person, especially one who has recently died. I am no longer and cannot be held liable for A. Maritime liens being forced against me, and B. Securities being taken out of the estate. All maritime liens being enforced against me, I hereby claim invalid, null and void, ab initio, non proton, see Libra Code Article 3, 31 and 38, and Regulations Art 45, 46, and 55 of the Hague Convention for October 18, 1907. I am the infant who does have an NIS, a national insurance number, which makes me the beneficiary of this trust. The national insurance system number and the name vested within me, an Autochthon indigenous living new womb, male of Garifuna, Caribmoo, and Taino descent, being that the Trinidad and Tobago Shipping Act 50-10, NIS, and the IRS works in admiralty. The Trinidad and Tobago Shipping Act 50-10, NIS and IRS, according to its own code, can no longer enforce any maritime liens against me, as I have now claimed. I am not lost at sea, nor am I a decedent vessel in commerce. 1707 Sestakivai Trust Act, UK.